Pete Moxley.
Yeah.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good. Before we start the show, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
Ready to rumble, bro. What's happening?
Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six. After being delivered this deep six.
We are live. This is episode 124. I am joined by my longtime friend, Pete Moxley, joining us tonight to talk Saturday night's main event. Pete, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. Saturday night's main event on Peacock. No time limits as far as they had an overrun tonight. Unlike NBC and Goldberg is probably steaming right now.
Let me tell you, you know what? I did notice that the show went about 1 or 2 minutes over. Of course, at the end of the show, we were looking to see if there was going to be any brouhaha, which we didn't get, but we'll get into that a little bit later. A very good show that we had tonight. Noticed Triple H doesn't like to overbook shows, and I'm really noticing a trend on Saturday night main event shows, especially. He gives the fans just a little bit enough to, have a little buzz for the next day, but he does not overbook. There was a lot of potential scenarios that we could have seen tonight, especially coming out of the Punk versus Jey Uso match. A lot of people were calling for, twists and turns and heel turns, and we didn't get any of that, but we're going to get into that. But Triple H, my point being, doesn't overbook shows that I notice. He's all about the slow burn. But we had noteworthy stuff that happened tonight. We had world title changes in 2 of the matches, which we will get into in a few moments. But a very good show overall. Pete, what did you think of the show before we start reviewing one by one the matches?
Well, we just had a brouhaha over in the World Series right now. Bench clearer and brawl, actually.
I just saw that
You're just talking about a brouhaha. All the excitement's going on over there and up in Toronto. But what was unique about tonight was every match, all 4 matches were for the titles. 2 world titles and the Intercontinental and the it was just it was something really cool to see for Saturday night's main event. It actually made it more prestigious than actually some of probably the past 2 pay-per-views that they've actually had. For me, anyway, that's what it felt like.
Yes.
I also enjoyed the intro, the old 80s style intro, but we're talking about the TKO era now and stuff like that, and I've noticed they've kind of reverted back to kind of like the LED boards and stuff like that. They did have the guardrails for the entrances. And what I liked when they first did like the first one and the first 2 Saturday night's main event, when they brought it back, is that, they had the guardrails all around. They did keep the sponsorship off the mats and off the LED boards tonight.
Yeah, I noticed that they didn't have the retro entrance, so I did notice that, and it was like a new kind of like shape and design to the LED as well. That could have been done for many reasons, but they did have the new guardrail, the red, white, and blue robes, so they kind of kept it retro, which I do like. I don't think anything could have been more retro than what we got in Nassau Coliseum. But if we're comparing Saturday night's main events over the past year or so, this was about the 5th, maybe the 6th show that they've done. This was probably this had more of an important feel because each match had a title on the line, a triple threat where anything could happen there. Women's title, the Punk versus Jey Uso. There was a new champion going to be crowned there. And then the way they built Cody versus Drew at the last minute with the Cody if he were to get disqualified or counted out, that he would lose the title with that stipulation. So they kind of did a pretty good job building each match.
And seem to lose Wayne right now. Maybe a one-man show, waiting for Wayne to come back, and there we are, man. I thought I was going to roll this
I don't know
out by myself. I thought I was going to do like Riverhead Raceway, and I was going to be the track announcer, as I do on Saturday nights, and I was going to have to fill in while Wayne was maybe he was watching the World Series game going on.
But the good thing about tonight was like each match was built with importance, which we haven't gotten out of some of the other Saturday night main events. And every match was for the title. So I was invested in each one. In fact, I did little reaction videos for each of the finishes of the matches tonight, which is probably going to take me a lot of time to edit. But just because I was expecting some swerves tonight. But we got some good matches, so let's dive right in. Our first match of the night was Cody Rhodes defending his title against Drew McIntyre. As I've said a minute ago, the stipulation was added last night that Cody Rhodes, if you were to get disqualified or counted out, that Drew would win the match. So basically, the champion's advantage was taken out of this match. And we had a pretty good match with Drew versus Cody. Pete, I'll let you start. What did you like about this match that we got tonight?
Seeing Drew come out in the entranceway tonight, man, he's jacked. He came out. He's built as a world champion, and he's come close so many times. You know, his championship run happened during the COVID era, and then he getting screwed out of the championship after winning it with the Money in the Bank briefcase and stuff. Drew is like the master manipulator, and him bringing that in last night on SmackDown with Nick Aldis, you know, as far as the title can change on a disqualification, a count out, you know, Drew is so good with that. And it was a really good, strong match. He did the little things that made this match seem so important. He tried to push Cody into the referee going early into this match, so trying to get that going. Leaving Cody over by the timekeeper, jumping back in the ring, trying to get the count out earlier in this match, and then they went at it, man. Just tooth and nail. It was a really strong opener match, and I mean, as a fan, you just knew Cody was going to win this match. You know, it just wasn't the place for Drew to win the title. The buildup wasn't there. It wasn't a long buildup. It was a last-minute stipulation, and where does Drew go from here? You know, it always seems like that. He just comes up short way too many times. He's great on the mic. He's phenomenal. Great character, great in-ring work, hard worker. Every match he has, it's used the same word for Sheamus, but they're bangers, man. The guy's a machine. He can go in the ring. So it's just, to me, it's just like, where do you put Drew now after this match?
Yeah, I mean, they very well could be a plan, because I really don't see any other clear-cut plan for Cody's opponent going into Rumble Mania season, at least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it comes out of thin air of whoever wins the Rumble, and then they start that feud. But other than that, like right now, I mean, they could. Right now, they're could be very well on the process, and the plan could be Drew McIntyre to beat Cody Rhodes eventually, and maybe a little bit of on a bigger stage. This could be part of Triple H's long story telling plan. You know, a good 6 to 12 month long plan. I really don't know. I couldn't really tell you. We do know that Braun Breaker is definitely going to be a world champion in this coming probably WrestleMania. But who his opponent's going to be? Could it be Punk? Could it be Cody? We don't really know that either. It's kind of hard to. Some years it's a lot easier to predict WrestleMania opponents, but for this year it's not really too clear cut. They've been featuring Drew McIntyre pretty heavily. They have not done anything with Randy Orton yet. They've been planting seeds with Sami Zayn all year long and Braun Breaker. That's all I really know. That's all I can really see. Where they go with Drew, he could be the plan for Cody. I really don't have a great answer on that.
There's two things that from this match. How many table spots we're going to see? Thank God we only saw really one tonight. Table exploded. Cody Rhodes threw himself through that table on that spot like he was Marty Jannetty at the barbershop. He just went flying from the ring apron all the way into that table. That thing exploded. But the thing with Drew is his character always seems to be, why am I being screwed over?
Yeah, this has been going on for about a year or 2 years now. It's about his whole story has been, I've been getting screwed out of left and right, out of everything.
And it's just like, is that still going to be the same story now coming out of tonight's Saturday night's main event?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Especially with him, with the title being used basically in that match, with the Crossroads and him hitting the title. And then the 1, 2, 3, Cody winning the match. It just continues this whole story of Drew McIntyre being screwed. So tonight it doesn't end the quest for Cody. I mean, for Drew and Cody. So it's going to continue. Does it go into, Survivor Series, or do we have a match at the Royal Rumble? I can see maybe a Royal Rumble match happening between them. I know it's still a couple of months away. I think we're going to have more, we'll have the War Games match. I think we'll also have a 5-on-5 match, maybe between the MFTs and the Wyatts happening, the traditional Survivor Series match. I think we're going to get one of those this year.
Yeah, I mean, even that's not really clear cut. I mean, it's looking like it very well could be Wyatt 6 and maybe 1 or 2 partners along with them, like you said, against MFT. And then, that being said, we got two Cody comments. We got one that says Cody sucks eggs, and then we had another one, Cody the best wrestler in WWE. Well, I wouldn't say Cody's the best wrestler in the WWE, but he's my favorite.
Cody's an egg-sucking dog. Watching Terry Funk yesterday versus Ric Flair, I quit. So,
oh my
little
god!
shout out. And they were talking about Dusty Rhodes, but Drew using the American dream, him coming from overseas and becoming an American citizen last night, kind of dropping the bomb on Cody, and then they're mentioning FCW and Drew kind of being one of Dusty's first kids. Yep.
We get the ref bump. Drew brings the belt into the ring. This is where it got a little interesting. This is the point of the match where I was a little bit at the edge of my seat here. Drew brings the belt into the ring, but misses Cody. The ref is already knocked out at this point. The belt is just laying there on the mat, and then Cody hits Drew with that DDT onto the belt, which was laying on the mat. I'm like, Cody, give it that belt quick, get rid of it. Like, there's a reaction video that's gonna come out on that. I'm like, Cody, get rid of that belt, get rid of it. And then the ref after that wakes up, and then the ref had no clue what was going on. He was in a whole nother world, and hits the 3 count, and Cody wins. He gets the win there. Pretty good match that we see. Let me see. Cody needs a heel turn. I mean,
You can't. He
I don't know
brings
if you can right now.
no. He brings so much to WWE
Yeah.
on a different level than just in ring. Merchandise sales, the things he does outside the ring right now.
Yeah.
It's not the time for Cody to change. You know, it's the same thing with John Cena. How long did people want to see John Cena change and become a heel from back in the day? Cody's not at the point where people are booing Cody. Cody's still cheered. He gets one of the largest pops every single time he enters the ring. As soon as you hear his music, the crowd goes crazy. Exactly. You can't change him yet. There's not a reason why. Who is the next baby face for the company to take over that role? There is nobody at that level right now.
Well, you know, he was getting boos at SummerSlam, but look who he was going against. He was going against John Cena, and everybody loves John Cena and knows that John Cena is on his way out. And what we're seeing out of John Cena right now is special. And you know, basically SummerSlam was one of his last matches, so he was going to get the cheers over Cody there, for sure. But yeah, like to your point, Cody is the guy right now, and Roman, he's kind of in and out until you have another guy ready, or until you have a guy like Roman who's going to be there consistently for a while to kind of carry the weight for a bit of being the main face and not be going in and out, then maybe you can get away with turning Cody. But right now, Cody is the guy, and until you have another guy ready, you can't turn Cody yet.
Roman carried the company as a heel.
He did.
But he never really changed his character. No. Even with the whole Heyman Seth Rollins situation, Roman's attitude has not changed. He's still the same guy. He's still the same character. He's in between right now. He's not that character that he's fully fledged, that kids are buying his merch. It's the older people, you know, whether it's the teens or the 20s and the adults, you know, those are the people getting behind Roman Reigns. It's not the little kids. And, you know, WWE is still family, you know. That's who they cater to.
It's still family, but they're not.
I know
the TKO prices of tickets.
I know. Oof. You know, and we talk about WrestleMania just before. You know, plans totally changed with Seth Rollins being gone. You know, I thought for sure we were going to get night number 2, Punk versus Seth Rollins, and Punk finally finishing the story of main eventing the last night of WrestleMania and winning his 7th championship. This just throws a huge wrench in the machine with Seth being injured now. And I think they just went with CM Punk right now to eventually put over Braun Breaker.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I truly believe Punk and Braun Breaker program was going to start the night after WrestleMania. So by the time Seth Rollins comes back, it's going to be about April or May, where they're going to be able to pick up where they left off anyway with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Whether Braun Breaker has the belt or not, it remains to be seen. I think it might happen. But basically, the storyline is going to catch up. It's just that they needed to pull the heel turn, and write Seth Rollins off and just get that right out of the way and just start building Braun Breaker for the next several months. So they kind of had to do things in a different order, clearly, because of Seth Rollins' injury. But by the time April, May comes around, I think they're going to pick up where they intended to leave off anyway with, Punk and Braun Breaker, except it's going to look a little different with Braun Breaker quite possibly having that title and then Seth Rollins coming for revenge.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit more later when we get into the main event. So I guess, we pretty much feel like we finished about, talking about Cody and Drew there. Jade and Tiffy, man, you ready to move on or what?
Oh yeah. So this was a match that it was easy for me to predict. keep in mind, Tiffany's had the belt for 11 months, pushing a year now. Jade Cargill's been knocking at the door, knocking on the door. It's not like this is the fourth match that they've had together, whether it be one-on-one or triple threat. The fourth match, Jade's been knocking for a while, and I felt that this was probably the time that they were about to do it. Jade Cargill, the last couple months, has looked better in the ring. Still green, but maybe she's more of like a dark green and not as much as a lime green. But she's gotten a little bit better, you know. Her matches are a little bit longer now, as opposed to a year ago. They had to hide a lot of the problems that was going on with Jade Cargill in 2024, having her tag with Bianca Belair, and then riding Jade Cargill off for a couple months while she goes train some more in NXT and refine what was going on there. Jade Cargill has looked better. Her presentation is great. There's no denying her presentation. She looks like a star. And this is what Triple H and WWE wanted to do for a while. Tiffany had a great title run, very, very good title run. The way they just booked her the last 2 weeks with that heel turn and then Tiffany Stratton's knee, giving her a problem now as a result of Jade Cargill's attack. And I believe that the injury is kayfabe. Otherwise, we would have heard differently. It just pretty much had it was screaming title change to me. And what did you think about the match?
So I think they're going to shelf Tiffy for a little bit of time. I don't think she's going to come back right away because of this knee injury. Tonight, they made Jade Cargill flat out. She's better as a heel.
Yes.
Part of it, she looks like $1,000,000. She looks great with that scar now that unfortunately happened, but she looks like a badass now, you know? She shows she's a ring warrior now, to say. You can see some of the things that she's gone through. You know, I was mentioning the other day, who's the most improved and of 2025. And you know, lately, just the last couple of matches for Maxine has been looking really good.
Yes,
but I gotta
100%.
say, the most improved, probably Jade.
Yeah.
She's had great matches, and I think it's unfair as some of the internet community, and I may get some heat on this. I may see some people write about this, but if you go back and watch her matches, a lot of the botches that have happened isn't really on her. I know the match with the three-way with Nia, Tiffy, and Jade. You know, some people are blaming her for little things, but you know, it's also who she's in the ring with. Also, at times, that you know, the communication sometimes wasn't there. But I just see a total difference in Jade now. She is a monster now. I don't know who she's gonna face or who's going to look like they could be a worthy opponent for her right now on the SmackDown side, but she is a monster now. Just a great presentation. She looks like $1,000,000. When they brought her in, this is what they wanted, but there's no way she was going to be a monster as a face. She has to be a heel because when Jade slows down, that's when she could be more methodical, do more villainous stuff in the ring, and makes her look stronger. Why they didn't turn her sooner, I don't know. But she is a better heel, just her presentation. I got to say a thing of beauty tonight. Tiffy Swanton. I don't know what looks more gracious, her Swanton or Jeff Hardy's, man.
Tiffany's trimmed down quite a bit, and I noticing that she's trimmed down. She's leaned out a little bit, and as a result, I've also noticed that her in ring has also improved as a result.
And how many years has she been wrestling?
She's been wrestling for what, 4 years?
5 years?
5 at most.
Since she's been training, she moved up to NXT pretty fast from training. You know, right now it's no longer Tiffy time. I do love her entrance music though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tiffany Stratton had a very good run. We have a comment here. Jade kicked ass, but Tiffany has to heal. Yeah, she has to heal now. So I'm excited to see how Jade will compete with opponents. Yes. So basically, Jade Cargill is going to get a new set of opponents due to the fact that she turned heel 100%.
Yeah.
And kayfabe, Tiffany Stratton will probably be out for a couple weeks, maybe even comes back at the Rumble, and who knows, maybe wins it. But I really think Jade Cargill's opponent for WrestleMania 42 is going to be Bianca Belair.
A lot of people are calling that one, man. It's weird. Her injury.
The reason why it did not happen last year is because Jade was not even ready, and WWE was not happy with her at the moment. So they had to do a lot of refinements, and now I think they're going to pull the trigger on it. Bianca, Jade at WrestleMania, which I would think Bianca would probably win the Rumble or Chamber.
Well, hopefully she's back by then. She has a weird injury with her finger, of all things. You don't think it'd be shelving her for that long, but I don't know. She doesn't have any movement in it, or it's just a botched surgery. I don't know exactly what happened, but she's been on the shelf for a long time for just a finger injury.
Yeah, this is dating back since like May or June, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's just a little weird. Like they were just they were saying recently. She was saying, I guess, in an interview, that her mobility in her finger isn't that great, and you think like a finger could be just something you can kind of hide in a wrestling match. Whether, old timers, they would tape their fingers together or something.
Yeah. We had a pretty good match with Jade and Tiffany. It was what it was. It's everything I expected it to be. Jade was controlling the match basically right out the get-go. Jade was controlling that match, and Tiffany got some moves in, but to sell her knee. But then we see Jade hitting her with multiple fallaway slams, sit-down power bomb, multiple power bombs, that is, and then gets the win after Jade hits Tiffany Stratton with her finisher for the 1, 2, 3. Jade Cargill, our new WWE Women's Champion. There.
That made her a monster. That very end made her a monster and just made her next level what she did to Tiffany at the end of that match. And the only thing I can think about is who is the next woman to step up to Jade. It's going to be interesting.
You got to believe like Charlotte, maybe Alexa Bliss, Charlotte's will be waiting in the wings. Whoever's on that SmackDown roster.
If they lose the titles. And what's their story between Charlotte and Alexa, coming up. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. So,
yeah, absolutely. I would expect like a split maybe one day down the road. I'm not too sure if it's going to be that soon, but they could be planning Charlotte versus Alexa Mania too. We just don't know. There's a couple different avenues. Intercontinental title match. We had Dirty Dom defending against Penta and Rusev. This was my favorite finish of the night. Dirty Dominic, man, like he is fun to watch. He had the crowd going tonight. The crowd was behind him, and man, he is on a roll right now. Interesting stat. Dominic with more wins in a title match this year than anyone in WWE. And I guess you would also attribute that to the fact that he's a double belt holder, 2 belts Dom, the AAA championship and the IC title. Let me ask you, Pete, do you consider a Grand Slam title? Like what is your definition of a Grand Slam champion? To me, it's WWE champion, tag, IC, and if you want to throw a US title in there or cruiserweight, what do you think?
I mean, it's kind of changed over the time. I mean, originally it was just the world tag and IC belts, but there's been so many championships that have been added. Yeah. Dom's a AAA mega, champion over there, but it's still not WWE Grand Slam yet. It's so funny because people are expecting Dom to be a face. To me, Dom doesn't need to change who he is. He's beloved who he is for what the things he's doing.
Yeah.
Tonight, and he's done this plenty of times. He made Uncle Eddie proud.
Yes.
Eddie Guerrero. You just see so much pouring out of Dirty Dom, of Latino heat, basically. Just the character over time. You turn him face, you kind of lose who Dom is. He's still a dirty scoundrel when it comes down to it. Underhanded. Still kind of somewhat of an underdog that always overcomes things, but doing it underhand. And when Eddie was a face, it was different. His belovedness, was totally different. There was an innocence to him in a way where I don't feel that yet with Dom. Will it get there? Probably will at one point. But, it's funny because in the beginning of Saturday night's main event, I thought there were some telltales that we might have saw Intercontinental title change finally going to Penta. I noticed as soon as they opened Saturday night's main event, you saw Penta. You saw him with the mask, but you didn't see any of the paint. Nope. They humanized him. The way he came across was very Rey Mysterio like. You could see his eyes, you could see his mouth without all the makeup, and it felt like, are they trying to build something starting off? And then they mention that only the Intercontinental Championship has changed once out of 16 times between when HBK beat the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, somewhere around the fall of 92.
Yeah, and then I thought the other telltale sign also was when Rusev touched the Intercontinental Championship during the match. We always know that's the kiss of death. It's like crossing underneath the ladder. You don't touch the championship until it's in your hands as the champion. And I just thought tonight could have been the night that Penta won the title because he did not have to beat Dom. He had to beat Rusev. And I thought maybe with the telltale signs, which WWE likes to do a lot of times, you just got to put the pieces of the puzzles together. And I thought maybe it could have happened. But Dom is just so entertaining. It made such a great match, especially the ending, like you said. You walked away from this match entertained. You enjoyed it. You liked it. Rusev still looks strong. Still comes across as a monster, but the battle now seems to be between maybe Penta and Rusev having a singles match. What happens with Dom now? I think this probably between all three will probably continue. But we'll see where it goes.
I didn't feel that Dominic was going to lose the belt here, but I would have not been surprised either due to the fact that this was a triple threat match and Rusev could have pinned Penta or Penta could have pinned Rusev and then it would have protected Dom and it'd be, a way to get the belt off of Dominic without Dominic having to take a loss. And so usually triple threats to me are like a red flag, potential that a title could change hands there. But I just didn't feel like Dominic was losing it here. He's going on about 7 months now, if my calculation serves me right. Yeah, almost 7 months now as the IC title holder. So, we could be looking at another couple months reign. Who knows? Is Dominic going to be John Cena's last opponent? Going to be IC title? Who knows?
I know you saw the commercial tonight for that. Let me get to that in a second. Actually, I watched tonight's triple threat with the Lucha Gatos, which are my cats, Penta and Phoenix, my two new kittens, the Lucha Gatos. Yes, I named my cat after the Lucha Brothers.
Nice.
But I just thought it'd be kind of cool, kind of a different name for some animals, but Zero Mero. But you know, seeing that commercial tonight with John Cena, man, that there's going to be a 16-man tournament. And they threw out some pretty interesting things of who it can be. You saw the picture of Gunther. A lot of us, what we've heard is going to be Gunther, but now it really might change. They said NXT. Is it the time to bring up Oba Femi? I think it'd be a perfect time, but I don't want to see Oba lose in a 16-man tournament. Could it be against Oba Femi and be kind of like when John Cena, the unknown person, went against Kurt Angle? And then they also mentioned that it could be somebody from outside the company. The rumors of Jericho coming in. Is this when you introduce Jericho in a 16-man tournament? I don't think it's Edge. I think Edge is still under contract for another year.
Edge would make so much sense if we knew.
Now, could something have worked out that the internet does not know about it? And I said it when it happened, that Andrade goes back to AEW and Edge gets to show up on Raw for this tournament. Could it be? I mean, listen, we've seen weird things happen the last couple of years. Forbidden Doors, WWE working with TNA. That partnership is looking pretty strong. There's been rumors of them buying into them, whoever. They did buy AAA. But stranger things could happen, man. But I did mention it as soon as it happened when Andrade had his one show on AEW, and I'm like, maybe they'll let him out of his claws there. They can let Edge show up.
That would be amazing, and that would be, honestly, that would be my favorite way for Cena to go out and let Edge just participate in the tournament and face John Cena there. Somebody commented that maybe it could be a way to make a new star, kind of like what John Cena hinted in the video of maybe it could be somebody that we don't know coming in like the way I came in and faced John Cena. That was mentioned in the video. Maybe somebody like a Trick Williams.
Trick is ready to be on the main event. Oba Femi is ready to be up there too.
Yeah.
Where do they start? I could see Trick more being pushed right away into the main event, where I could see Oba getting that slow burn of being a monster, and then getting that push. Whether he say a Paul Heyman guy or something like that. But, I could see him getting that slower push to begin with, so people get used to who Oba is. But Trick on the mic is magic. Trick in the ring is magic. Trick is ready to be a superstar on the main level.
Absolutely. For those of you guys that are watching, if you want to drop in the comments right there, right below your screen, somewhere around there, drop in the comments to the question that I have right below. Who is John Cena's opponent going to be December 13th, or is it the 14th rather? Washington, D.C., Saturday night's main event. I'm curious to know what you guys think. I think it's going to be somebody that I want to say that John Cena wants to make a new star here, and that John Cena's he wants this match to serve like a really good purpose and not be a missed opportunity. So yeah, I would love to see Edge as a nostalgia act, but I'm thinking we could get a Trick, an Oba Femi. One of those guys just to make a new superstar right away.
Now I know he has 4 appearances. I think he has 2 matches. Really, I don't think he'll wrestle all those 4 appearances.
I don't think so. It's possible, but they didn't say. But he does have 4 appearances, and that's going to be Boston, New York, Survivor Series, and Saturday night's main event.
Now they did show a picture of Dom in that 16-man. Everybody thinks, because he hasn't won the Intercontinental Championship, John Cena. Will he face Dom? Could that put over Dom at that point? I don't think John's not selfish at this point of his career. He's about putting people over, and he's been that way for the last couple of years. He put Austin Theory over. Did it go anywhere? No. That part of his booking, I think, was on Vince, though, also at that point, too, of what they've done with him. I think they botched him a little bit, and they're trying to bring him back now. And there's been talks about maybe Austin Theory showing up as part of the Division, being a Paul Heyman guy in the future. Who knows if that will even happen? But Austin Theory can go. He can go when he was involved back in the day under Gabe. There was always strong stuff about Austin. Could this be Austin Theory? Very John Cena-like. And John Cena's already put him over. Maybe that could be one of the next guys. This is just spitballing out there, man.
No, absolutely. I mean, those of you guys that are watching, drop in your comments. Who do you think it's going to be? It very well could be. How about Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker is the next big thing in the WWE. He's about to break out and be a world champion sooner rather than later. Could that go to Braun Breaker so they can have that fantasy match and WWE can say that they did the match and then, as opposed to us never seeing it again. Cena does have 4 appearances, so there's still maybe some opportunity to see John Cena face a couple guys like a Dom Mysterio Survivor Series or something like that.
What do you feel of John Cena's last match being Saturday Night's main event and not WrestleMania?
I mean, I don't really have any really reservation on it. I mean, John Cena basically, told us in advance he was going to give us a whole year. And then that was that. I mean, maybe he could have given us a whole year and then make his last retirement match at WrestleMania. He could have it, but this is it. He's just pulling it. And John Cena says he's not going to show up anymore after this. He's going to do right by the fans, and everyone's paying their hard-earned money to go to these shows in confidence that John Cena is making this his last match. It would be a good stage for Cena to, have his last match. But he did set the expectation much earlier on, so I don't have any.
You can't go back on it. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the last time we see John Cena. It'll be the last time we ever see John Cena wrestle.
Yeah, like he'll probably do a couple appearances like Sting's doing right now in AEW.
Not like show up. He may show up as a surprise a couple of times,
like an Orlando, like a Tampa Bay area because he lives in Tampa.
I can see him showing up at WrestleMania as just a surprise. Just showing up.
Yeah.
Putting maybe somebody over or something like that, or just something stupid. Just showing up or introducing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the last time. John Cena is always going to be connected to WWE.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And he knows through ads. You can do ads, just different things.
Mm-hmm.
He could be an ambassador going forward. That's probably what will probably happen at some point. But he's very busy with movies, so I wouldn't expect that to happen anytime soon.
Peacemaker, no season 3. They're pushing him right into the movies.
It's pretty funny how John Cena was calling out The Rock for so long about being in the movies, and then you get Cena.
He's in more projects than The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock might be involved with more projects behind the scenes with his company and stuff like that. John Cena's getting more work, whether it's commercials, voiceovers. He's in everything, man. I hear a Honda commercials. Just so many upcoming movies he's in. He's gonna make some big bucks in the next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, John Cena's set for life. So just as a fun fact, my brother-in-law has flown John Cena a couple times because John Cena flies privately, and the closest private plane airport, one of the closest to New York City, is up in Westchester. So my brother-in-law had the opportunity to fly him a couple times. Speaks very highly of John Cena. Behind the scenes, very, very respectful. So I thought that was an interesting story. I'm like, why didn't you just introduce me, please?
Haven't
Fun
heard a bad word about John as far as a person. You've heard stuff earlier in his career, with certain wrestlers and having problems with certain wrestlers.
Yeah.
It ends up turning out a lot of those wrestlers, they never went anywhere. Maybe there was a reason why, not just Sean. Sure, there was power play moves and stuff like that, but I think there was a time where John grew up a lot, and just his whole attitude changed a lot. And then, but it was a dog eat dog situation, especially back then in the wrestling community, especially in WWF, WWE, when under Vince, so it was just,
We had a comment here before we move on to the main event. In John's video, he said he'd want it to be someone he's never wrestled before, so I'm thinking someone from NXT. I 100% agree. I would like to see. I wouldn't mind the nostalgia. If it's gonna be nostalgia, I wouldn't mind Edge. Otherwise, I would like to see it be somebody new, and I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. I would think that John Cena is not going to let an opportunity go to waste. I think they'll be very strategic on this. She says, "Let's go." TW would be great. Trick Williams would be a great new NXT to come to WWE. Absolutely, he's on the up and coming. I'm not an Oba fan. Listen, Oba's a star, and Oba is going to be one of your big main eventers. Oba, Braun Breaker is going to be Trick Williams, going to be Carmelo Hayes, is going to be those guys I just mentioned. You're going to be main eventers as we get into the mid to late 40s. Those are going to be the guys to help hold up the company.
Two people that I putting money on. Either it's going to be Gunther, because he hasn't faced him yet. Gunther's coming back. Does he put him over? Now, Gunther's already over. Already's a main eventer. Second person, and I feel that Trick Williams is done in NXT after his match with Ricky Starks, and I think Oba's done with NXT.
We haven't seen Oba in a little bit.
The way things have changed as far as when they bring people up now, I think has changed. We haven't seen a draft. It does seem like the draft is kind of over now in WWE. We've had some trades like behind the scenes between Nick and Pierce, but there's been no draft this year at all. So it's not like you're drafting anybody from NXT coming up. This would be a perfect opportunity to bring up one or both of them to be part of this, but I would love for it to be Trick Williams against John Cena, and John putting over Trick and pushing Trick to the next level.
That would be a crazy rub.
Yeah. And then I think you should put the U.S. title on Trick right away against Ilya or something. Put a title around that guy right away. It can't be the world title. There's so many guys that are up there right now that deserve to push first. But, I think Ilya versus Trick would be sick. Ilya can wrestle any style.
Let me tell you, Ilya Dragunov, his last 3 weeks, if you guys have not watched SmackDown the last 3 weeks, I don't know where you guys have been with Sami Zayn. That was probably arguably the match of the year and probably the best SmackDown match we saw of all time. And then last week and then last night, his match against Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier can go. I know everybody got upset when Blake Christian got released from NXT and all this, and he has done nothing in AEW. And I hate to say that, he's part of a tag team. He's more Ring of Honor over there now. But Nathan Frazier is the guy, from that time of all these guys that were high flyers under NXT and stuff like that, they stuck with the right guy. You know, I know he's with Axiom and their Fraxium and stuff like that. And Axiom is Kid A, was awesome in the UK. You know, they put the mask on him. He looks so young, I guess, when he came up. You know, does he lose the mask eventually at some point? But you know, I love following Nathan Frazier on Instagram. Spiritually. Also, he's a Christian. I'm a Christian, and just some of the stuff he posts is so personal and so amazing. But I think his personality is starting to come out a little bit with Fraxium. Both of them together. The tag team situation on SmackDown has been awesome. I know we're getting long on this, talking about things that are off topic, but still on the wrestling side of WWE. But there's so many good, strong stories on the SmackDown side with the tag team division.
Oh, absolutely. The SmackDown side is doing an excellent job with the tag division, and it's something that the Raw side has been lacking for a number of weeks now. That tag titles for Raw have only been defended like 2 or 3 times since Mania, if that. So they got to get that fixed. But to your point, Ilya has been tearing it up all year long, and you guys need to go back. And if you have not watched those matches, go back and watch the last 3 SmackDowns with Ilya Dragunov. My goodness, especially that title win. Whew, unbelievable. Moving on, we are going to talk main events, but to those of you guys that are watching, feel free to drop in comments. We want to hear what you guys thought of Saturday night's main events, and if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, share with your wrestling buddies, and let them know we are here. We are rolling. We're going to be going hard into WrestleMania season. If I am not around in the beginning of the year due to job stuff going on, there will be a team in place to get this ball rolling into the new year, into WrestleMania season. So we can't wait. We're going hard this year. So we want you guys to be a part of that. But anyway, make sure you guys subscribe, comment, join the conversation. We want to hear what you guys thought about tonight, and especially what we're going to be talking about now, the main event, Jey Uso challenging CM Punk, both number 1 contenders. Jey Uso earning his spot by winning the Battle Royal last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, and CM Punk earning his number 1 contender spot about a month or so ago. And due to Seth Rollins' injury, he's probably not going to be back until at least April or May, they're saying. It's about a 6-month window. So apparently his rotator cuff tear wasn't too significant. Had it been any of the bigger tear, he would have been out probably closer to a year. But anyway, we have to get that world title situation solved, and that problem got solved tonight with Jey Uso and CM Punk. And what a match that we had here. This was an absolute banger. I was kind of like at the edge of my seat, just waiting to see if we were going to get some brouhaha and some shenanigans, or if there was going to be any plot twists we're going to see. We didn't get any of that. We got a good, clean match, though. We got a great match. And like I said before, Triple H he habitually does not overbook these shows. Which we've been noticing a lot lately, especially in the Saturday night's main events. He's only going to give you a little bit, just enough to talk about the next day at the water cooler, but he's all about the slow burn. That being said, Pete, you can take it away. What did you think of the Punk versus
Couple of little
Jey
notes.
Uso?
I thought it was a little. Jay's gear was a little weird tonight. It wasn't his normal gear.
No.
He's wearing all black. I don't know if there's a little telltale signs that they're trying to throw out there a little bit. Very reminiscent with the white boots and the black shorts that he had. A Braun Breaker a little bit. I still think they're trying to throw hints of Jay turning, and I don't think it's going to be Jay, and I've been saying it for a long time now, that it's going to be Jimmy Uso that's going to turn. And that was
Jimmy turning.
You know, yeah. I've been saying it for a while because he's going to be the guy that's going to be fed up at Roman. He's going to be fed up with Jay. and he's going to say, I had enough, and I just feel like it's not about him. It's never about Jimmy. Jimmy always puts everybody over. And now Jimmy's going to come to the point where it's about him. That's it. He doesn't care about anybody else. Jay's still doing the same thing he's doing. Roman's still doing the same thing he's doing. I think it's going to come to a point where Jimmy's just like, I've had enough. And Jimmy's better on the mic than Jay. Flat out. Always has been. That was part of tonight where, we were coming in tonight. Was tonight going to be the night that we were going to see Jimmy turn on Jay? Or something like that? Was the vision going to attack tonight? Either opponent? I kind of had a feeling that we might have not even had a title win at this point. That there would have been something that, how crazy would it have been? First off, before I get to that point, I thought the chemistry was off in the beginning of this match. I felt like there was no chemistry at all in the beginning of this match, like the first 5-7 minutes or whatever it was. And it wasn't until the very end or middle to the end that they started connecting with each other, which was very unusual. There's some sloppiness in it a little bit. Maybe some on Jay and maybe some on Punk. But I thought the chemistry was kind of off, and I had that in my notes earlier. It was weird to see a clean win. I was very surprised, Punk winning his 7th championship. Like I said earlier, I thought that would have came at Mania against Seth. And then you would have had the Braun situation take over, and then him and Seth going at it. And then maybe Braun winning the championship at like SummerSlam next year against Punk or something. But, it was very interesting. Like, how crazy would it have been if SmackDown, if Saturday night's main event would have ended with both Jay and Punk being stretchered out of the arena, and that's the end of the night, and you just left it at that, and the fans would have just had their jaws dropped. I think it would have built such intensity if the Vision would have came out and took out both of them. Whether it was Jimmy joining the Vision, and all of a sudden now you set up War Games coming up. Like, it seems like what we've heard, that War Games is going to be the Vision and a few other guys versus Punks, Jay, and a whole, Roman maybe being in it, and whoever else. I think if that's the way you're going to go with the Vision, I think tonight would have been the perfect opportunity. And this is fantasy booking, with both guys being stretchered out of the arena tonight. I think it would have been kind of crazy, because that was one of the things that we could have been left in limbo at the end of Saturday night's main event. And to me, this is probably the weakest match of the night.
If for a while, I believe so. Then the finishes started heating up. Finally, 3/4 of the match. I want to say when we were within 10 minutes left. No, maybe like 6-7 minutes left. The 6-7. I did. Anyway, but it was within that time frame that the finishers and the match really started cooking at that point. It took them a little bit to cook, but once it started cooking,
wasn't until the end, Punk giving all the go to sleeps, and I know Punk does change his look a little bit. It was kind of cool him winning, after his MMA trainer Duke passing away and stuff like that, doing the tribute for him.
Yeah, they made note of that in the beginning of the match.
To me, it was that title change on that Saturday night's main event. To me, that should have happened at a bigger pay-per-view, with a bigger crowd. Punk winning that his 7th and just going off. And I still think the way you should have went was that title not changing tonight. To me personally, I just really felt that's what was going to happen tonight. Smart booking to keep telling the story. Not having the Vision come out even at the end of the match. Where do we go now from this? It's just like,
we had Jey Uso looking up, sitting down in ringside.
I know, like
up at
the
Punk
same thing in the planting the seeds of Jimmy at the end again. That people saying that Jay's going to turn. Not Jimmy. I'm sorry. That Jay's going to turn, and I still don't think it's going to be.
Jay's
Jay.
kind of been like I
He's
noticed
too
like
popular.
he is.
His T-shirts sell. His merch sells. They're not going to take that away right now.
Yeah, I don't.
This is me being a smart fan or being a smart mark or whatever. And I said the same thing with Cody before. They're not at the point yet where the crowd still pops, still goes crazy. The kids are buying. The families are buying the merch. And they stop selling the
Jey
T-shirts
Uso's
for a
holding the
while?
babies.
Yeah, and there was a time where Jay, they stopped selling his T-shirts, but there was a time where when he had the title, that every arena he went to, whatever town it was, they had the colors like it was John Cena, and I think that's the reason why they stopped doing it, because they were doing it for John Cena, of all the Yeet shirts matching the sports teams, in their cities, and I kind of feel like they kind of stopped doing that because of John Cena, and not that they stopped pushing Jay. That Jay was an okay champion. They didn't push him the right way. I don't think either. He was getting gassed out earlier in the matches, and I think his cardio has totally changed where he can do the, what he was doing, that he was getting gassed out and he couldn't even jump over the ropes and it was hurting him. I just don't know if we'll see Jay versus Punk again.
I don't really think so either. I think this may be the start of like a segue program. I think Jay's going to start branching out, and I think the reason why they went Punk here is because they need a stronger champion going into Royal Rumble WrestleMania season, to set up that big match, which potentially could be a Braun Breaker versus Punk or Sami Zayn versus Punk, one of those guys, and then whichever guy doesn't get Punk will probably go after Cody. Is what I'm thinking. But you need. I think you needed Punk. And that's the only reason why I was probably leaning a little bit towards Punk winning today. But I honestly really didn't know for sure what was going to happen. But I thought Punk was just a slight favorite just because you need somebody stronger to go into Royal Rumble WrestleMania season and then to build that fantasy match potentially of like a Zayn or a Braun Breaker for sure.
So fan of the night, and I'm going to call it now. We're going to see Post Malone at WrestleMania in the ring.
Or do something, yeah.
He's a huge wrestling fan, like Jelly Roll.
WWE made sure to make made it known that wanted the fans to know that Post Malone was there in the arena tonight.
Yeah, he also went crazy for the Jade win too, also. But just seeing him there, and he's been at a lot of shows lately. I think that connection's going to be there. I think we're going to see him at WrestleMania.
This comment is for you. Yeah, Peter, I think something was going to happen too, to not have a title win or a claim, but we'll see on Raw why they've chosen Punk. I'm in favor of it. Well, I mean, we kind of, in my opinion, I think the answer was what I just mentioned, that Punk is the stronger guy that's going to get you into the Mania season. And then you'll do like a Punk versus Braun Breaker. And then now you're setting up Braun Breaker to possibly lose his title to LA Knight, because LA Knight's going to want to get a title or of some sort. They got to. Fans have been clamoring for LA Knight now. Like, why isn't LA Knight getting the title? Why is it not happening? Well, because they're really trying to get the Braun Breaker.
They're still they go crazy over LA Knight's catchphrase. They don't go crazy over LA Knight, the wrestler.
It's true.
Only when he does his catchphrases or does his signature move, LA Knight, yeah. When else do they chant for LA Knight? When do you hear LA Knight's name chant when he's not even there? You hear chants for CM Punk. You hear the Yeets, whatever. LA Knight is just a character. He doesn't sell merch. He's not selling like crazy merchandise.
No, it's true.
LA Knight he's a good hand. He's the same guy he's always been for a long time. I know my friend Jason's a huge LA Knight fan. Yeah. But there's still a disconnect of LA Knight with the fans. Yeah, he'll get the big pops every now and then, but when he's not doing his signature moves, when he's down in the ring, the comeback, you do not hear the comeback for LA Knight when he's beaten down. Now, LA Knight, to me, should be the one turning heel. I think he's also a better heel than he is a face or a in-between type of wrestler. I think they would still do his catchphrases like they did in TNA when he did the dummy. All that stuff, I think you would still have them chanting for LA Knight, but as a heel. Kind of like the Dirty Dom, like I was saying earlier. He's a better heel. I don't know how he would be as a baby face. Why haven't they turned LA Knight over the past 2 years at this point? There was times you could have done it. Could he be the one that turns on Jay and Jimmy or something like that? I wouldn't mind. I would rather see LA Knight as a heel than as a face. There's just there's not a connection at some point to put LA Knight over as a world champion to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just not. It's not in the plan right now. I mean, we know that. We know the plan is to let's get Braun Breaker that title, and then we'll have to see what happens from there.
If he's a face, LA Knight would just be a feeder to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not a bad feud.
Didn't Braun Breaker just beat him?
Yeah, but still, it's not a bad feud or feeder to have. He's a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
But there's, to me, LA Knight's character is a mishmash of different people, and we all know it's either two people that he's emulating, and he has emulated Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Yeah.
I think that's probably maybe with older fans or something. Yeah, we like to do the chant along, and that's something that WWE's always been about for the longest time. But I don't see the sales and stuff for him. When you think about it, to me, when I think about wrestling and being who's going to be what or who's going to be pushed or something like that, a lot of it comes down to seeing the business side of it. What are you wearing?
Who should have been?
I can't see you. I'm on my phone. Who's that? You got to tell me, man.
Karrion Kross.
We're going to get into that now. I know we're getting a little late here, dude. With Aleister Black and Selena, people are saying, hey.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar, but not the same. I don't know. We'll see.
I think Karrion ends up with MLW if they get a TV deal. I think he's wrestling there in next week or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up again in WWE against Black and Zelina. I think the further that they're away from WWE, the less interested people are in them of Karrion Kross. To me, that's just what I see. He's not pushing himself like a Matt Cardona or a Shotzi Blackheart, and he should be doing that. He should be doing all these indies and getting his name out there. Maybe he's charging too much money. I don't know.
He's been doing a lot of appearances, and I had my eyes on doing an appearance with Karrion Kross, and he's coming to Brentwood November 15th, but I'll be up in Boston.
But to me, yeah, I have a race that day at Riverhead, so I'm gonna miss it too. But seeing House of Glory come out to that's pretty cool. They're going out to LA too. They're really growing House of Glory. But That's what the Big Exchange or what something like that, Big XS, that they do every year or twice a year or something now in Brentwood. But he's not, to me, he's not pushing himself. He may be making appearances, but he's not in ring. He's not doing
little stuff with Cardona, but that's about it.
Yeah, but he's not doing what Cardona does.
No.
And he's not doing what Shotzi Blackheart does. They, once she got released, she followed and she called Matt Cardona and said, "What can I do?" And she's been doing the same thing, making a name for herself in the indies. To me, and I don't want to say it is, because I don't think it is, but I think there's a lack of pushing himself to the next level, if you understand what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, he'll do videos and stuff like that, but he's not put himself out there like he should. And I don't know if I don't want to say laziness, and it's not, because it's not the right thing to say, but it just seems a little lackluster at some points, whether he's choosing things, he's methodical, and I guess in his business sense, but you need to push yourself in wrestling or people are going to forget about you. And I kind of feel like the further he's away from doing the indies and being out there, people are going to forget about it. I think the further he's away, if he ever shows up back in WWE, if he showed up, I think less people would care the second he walked out.
Yeah. So those of you guys that are watching, one last thing, I got to show you guys. This was an action figure that I just got. And this was kind of a hard one to find. You can't get, select Walmarts have it. The Walmarts here on Long Island have not had it. So thanks to my friend Joe, we were able to track one down at this particular action figure for a little bit less money than what it was going for. But at Walmart, they were going for $25. But as quick as they got on the website, quick as they were gone. And then it would go resale for like twice the amount. But check this out. So this came in not too long ago. It is the John Cena Farewell. I apologize if there's a glare, but that's the packaging right there. Look at that packaging. Like, I am very, very well impressed. And look at this. The last time is now John Cena Farewell Tour 2025. As Pete Moxley shows off his Darth Vader. So got the John Cena pop from WrestleMania 42. So I got a little nostalgic at some point. So this is why next year I want to do action figure giveaways. So if I see something that's hot, of course I'm going to get one for myself. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to get one for myself. But what I want to do is action figure giveaways. So once or twice a year, we want to be able to do that. So, which is why you guys need to be subscribed to this channel. And this way we can run some kind of giveaway. What we would probably do is you would email us just to let us know that you're subscribed. We verify, put you in a raffle. And then if your email is chosen, then we make sure we get a hold of you and get you an action figure that's hot at the moment. So be on the lookout for stuff like that next year. I can see more of that happening more towards the middle part of next year. Maybe earlier, we'll have to see. But Pete, oh, you got Homer there. Hey, Homer. Pete, any last minute comments regarding Saturday night's main event and where we go from here?
I thought it was great. 4 title matches. Might have been one of the most important Saturday night's main events. To have 4 titles on the line. Growing up, Saturday night's main event, they were huge, especially the Hulk Hogan ones. The first few were huge.
Yeah.
And Savage was put over huge on Saturday night's main event. And then it kind of petered out a little bit. Especially when they try to brought it back, I guess in the 90s or 2000s weren't that successful. This is definitely the best one probably since they brought it back. Just having 4 matches, and Nassau Coliseum was cool just because of the nostalgia ever of it. But but to me, it's got to be probably the top 3 of maybe all-time Saturday Night's main events.
I agree. And you know
Just
what?
on the
What I
opponent
also
level.
liked about this show is that, like, if you look back to last year's show in Nassau, and I was at that one, and granted, I enjoyed it, but I felt that that show was rushed because they had 5 matches to squeeze in 2 hours. Tonight, it was 4 matches, and I thought that the show was paced perfectly, and it left you a little breathing room too. We were in Nassau; it was match to match to match. They played no games. It was like that. They were trying. You could tell that they were trying to squeeze everything in, but at least tonight there was a little breathing room, and that's what I expected. We have some kind of comment here. Ninian cannot read that, but yeah. Anyway, paced perfectly, and we'll see where we go from here. Those of you guys that are watching, we will be back here Monday night with a Monday Night Raw post show. Basically the fallout from Saturday night's main event. We'll probably be starting some new programs or continuation of some, so that should be pretty interesting. Pete Moxley, Pete Gallows, thank you so much for hopping on tonight and joining me at relatively last minute. It's been fun to have you back as a guest. We look forward to having you again. Excellent insight on everything that we covered tonight. And
another 2 or 3 years.
Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hopping on with your comments. And we will talk to you guys soon. See you Monday night.
Selah.
Selah. He busted out the Selah.
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep 6. That could be a delivered this deep 6. Agility from the champion. Oh, deep 6. That could be a delivered this deep